feel and assume that we are talking to the North. We are talking to people of northern Nigeria. What would you say that would make them to elect you as against the other transition papers?
Thank you.
We are going to talk to the North. So please stand up, look at the North, and then let us know what. No, let me get. And the chairman.
Okay. Yes.
I will make one statement why I should be the preferred candidate of the North. I will make one statement and thereafter I will explain. The reason why I should be the preferred candidate of the North is that when I look at the North, I don't see the North, I see Nigeria. When I look at the East, I don't see East, I see Nigeria. When I look at the South, I don't see South, I see Nigeria. And when I look at the West, I don't see West, I see Nigeria. But you cannot address Nigeria without addressing Northern Nigeria, because North is the issue in Nigeria. For example, I want to feed people. Where would the food come from? Northern Nigeria. I want to keep the country safe. Where would the soldiers, the airmen, the naval men, the policemen come from? Northern Nigeria. I want to be an industrial power. Where would the industries be? Northern Nigeria. I want to replace oil with agro products. Where will I plant my ginger? Except Northern Nigeria. And I want to eradicate poverty. If Nigeria wants to rank as a country that has escaped poverty, where will I address most of my concern, except Northern Nigeria? And I want a united country where the generation after me will not bother about your state or origin or where you come from. Where will I get the nationalists, except Northern Nigeria? Because in the North, Sir Adebayo, Dr. AREWA, and many of the leaders of the North, Makama Bida and all of them, they came with one policy: one North, one people. And if you can do one North, one people, with so many diversities in the North, that if you were to come here in the times of the Sardauna, and you wanted to see the Sardauna, the person you will see last before you see Sardauna will be Sunday Awoniyi. It will not be Sardauna's relative. So the North has taught us on how to keep diverse people united. And in the Second Republic, the MPN, led by my father, President Shagari, said one nation, one destiny. So it is the degeneration in our politics that makes us to start to look at people from what is your attitude to the region. But one thing I will not do, I will not do politics of symbolism. I don't believe that you are a friend of the North when you say, Minister of Finance, let me bring a Northerner. Minister of Interior, no. You are a friend of the North when you address the problems of the North. It is not when I appoint my friends from the North. That is why I've taken my time to go segment by segment, from leaders to the followers to other different groups, to know the problems of the North. So anybody from any part of the North can call me back. If this session is not long enough, I can come back for a special session. And you come from any part of the North and state your state and ask me to tell you the problem in the state. I will tell you section by section. So I know the problems, I know what the North needs. And I'm not just going to do it to say, well, let's just put somebody there. from the North so that they can say, I love Northerners. No, I will address all these problems facing the North. Why? Insecurity. For example, anybody who can deal with terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, cattle rustling is a friend of the North. Anybody, even if he's from the North, who cannot deal with it is not a friend of the North. Any person who can complete all the hydro projects so that we can have Fadama farm all year round, it doesn't matter where it comes from, is a friend of the North. Anybody who goes to Ministry of Agriculture, who puts his friend from the North, and they are diverting fertilizer and sharing the money, is not a friend of the North. A person who can complete that original plan for Kaduna Refinery to have a petrochemical site so that we can be self-sufficient in chemical fertilizer, and also go to different parts of the North and give biofertilizer so that there's self-sufficiency, is a friend of the North. A person who can supply 10 tractors per ward to every sector of the North, 10 tractors, so that anybody within a ward can go to a government facility, lease a tractor, sign an undertaking, and once your produce comes out, we deduct the money for that from you, is a friend of the North. A person who can create a school system to get the children who are into Islamic education to stay in an institutionalized system whereby they behave like normal schools, that the government knows that Islamic education is part of the tradition of Nigeria. It's part of our heritage that God gave to us. And in the process, just like they are doing in Turkey, they are doing in other countries, these students, as they are learning the Islamic education, they are also learning other didactic education. And they are seen as students, and they can be kept off the streets, is a friend of the North. Any person who can do justice and truth is a friend of the North. Because without truth and justice, there cannot be peace. And the North needs peace. So this is the politics of the North now. It is not just the politics of identity. I remember in 1959, when they were working towards independence, and they were doing the integration of the services. And they were asking people, because at that time, the people with the least representation in the federal government were Northerners. And they were asking people to come and join the federal civil service. And there was a headline, I think it was in the Comet, by Dr. Azikwe's party. And it was headline, "The Malams are coming." That mentality, where you are sent to a place just to say, where we are short there, go and be our identity there, it's not enough for this generation. It was good for them at that time. Now you must represent the North in my government. The person who will represent the North in my government may come from Cross River. Because when I listen to him, and I see that in the ministry where he is, he's able to identify the problems of the North and address it, I will take him as my brother and I will bring him to you and say, this man is from Cross River, but he's your son. Because look at what he has done for our people in the North here. But to crown it all, you can go and ask prominent Northerners who have interacted with me before politics. You can go to establishments that I established. You can go to places. You can come to my house. Then you can go around anybody who has dealt with me. You can go to justices of Supreme Court. You can go to Justice of Court of Appeal. You can go to permanent secretaries. You can go to people who cannot lie to the North, and they will tell you who I am. I am not a friend of the North by lip service. I'm a friend of the North because I see myself as a Dan AREWA. I live here, and I build my fortune here. Thank you.